Hi, everyone. How are you?
Well, thank you.
We're good. I'm
Great. Julie is on location in Ojai. Julie,
Hi.
what have you been doing there?
Helping them with different things, helping Olivia and Nick and Steve, and learning about the amazing project they have had for 23 years by now, right? Yeah. So
22 years. So that's you started in
2001.
2001. Okay.
Yeah.
But the farm was going long before that. Is that correct?
Yes, I've been farming since 1975.
Okay. But the farm that you have now that you use with the restaurant.
The farm that I have now, I started when the restaurant was already going. When
Okay.
I started the restaurant, I've had three parcels prior to that, but the current farm is since 2006.
Okay. All right. And the farm it can't be right on site, right? Because
No,
you guys
it's
are
5 minutes from the store. It's 10 acres.
okay.
5 minutes from the store, and it's in a semi wild area. There's no neighboring farms.
Okay.
Good. In other words, there's no one spraying anything.
Yeah. No, that's my problem here. Like I live in a semi-suburban area and everything I do is, I don't spray, there's nothing like that, but I have neighbors, there's a golf course like not that far away, and it's like it drives me crazy. Like there's nothing I can do to really change the mindset of the surrounding area.
And
But
I guess for people that don't know, I mean, some people wouldn't even know where Ojai is. So I would like you guys to explain what Ojai is as a town and how did you end up being here or, just staying here, right?
Yeah, so Ojai is 60 miles north of Los Angeles, and it's like the smallest, most beautiful town surrounded by mountains, and it's old Spanish style buildings in town. We're like in the suburbs of Ojai. We're kind of in the poor, we're like in East LA part of Ojai.
how big is Ojai?
Ojai's like 8,000 people.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. And
nice.
it's like 20 minutes from the ocean, and it's
Okay.
really it's hot today, but it's a really great place.
And surrounding the farm, sorry to get back to Steve, is it
Okay.
is it forest or what is it? What is the landscape like?
Uh, yes, it's arid and forest. There's some grasslands. The farm is in the middle of a former prison,
Okay.
and the county of Ventura operated it as an honor farm for many years, and then they abandoned the prison in 2000 and went looking for a master tenant. It's a very big operation. It's lots of buildings, and so I've been there ever since. I've been there for 19 years or so, I guess. Yeah, and so there's part of it is the prison property, but there's many abandoned facilities there that they don't use anymore.
Okay. So,
So, for example,
mhm.
I use some of them. No one else would want to use an abandoned abattoir, a killing room.
Right,
So,
right.
so
God.
there's this big building where they
Yeah.
used to dispatch the animals. It's spooky in there.
Yeah. What do you do with that room?
I hang all my garlic.
Okay. Well, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, so
Yeah, what is it?
I hang the garlic, and it's perfectly clean, but it's spooky.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, the garlic doesn't it scares away vampires and things. So
Yeah, there are absolutely no vampires, and when we started this year, there were 9,000 heads of garlic in there.
okay. So the farm's quite productive then. If 9,000 heads of gardening, it's not you're not just. Is it all being sold, used for the restaurant and the market, or are you selling elsewhere as well?
We have been selling elsewhere, but all those market avenues are kind of drying up. A long-term friend of ours, got interested in selling to Las Vegas, and so it's a little unsavory because we're
Okay.
selling to casinos.
Okay.
And so when when the government announced that they wanted to absorb Canada as the 51st state, Air Canada stopped flying to Las Vegas.
Okay.
Oh,
And so this has severely hurt that particular economy. And then also the threats against China also hurt that economy because the Chinese love to gamble.
Right.
And so my business went from around $2,000 a week to $200 a week.
Okay.
And so
Wow.
then we started to shift around. We're growing lots of chili peppers to dry, for example. So we can be resourceful about what we're producing.
Mm-hmm.
And there, for example, with chili peppers or garlic, there's no panic. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a zucchini panic.
Right.
A constant panic. You have to pick it every day and find out where to sell it, and so we're rolling with the punches.
Okay.
And you have a CSA.
And I also have a buying club, a CSA, a farm share operation for 60 people a week.
Okay. All in Ojai or elsewhere?
In Ventura too.
Okay. So tell me about the farmer and the cook. Like, how did this amazing project begin?
It was Olivia's idea, so she should explain.
So my mother bought this old butcher shop, grocery store building with a hole in the roof in 1998. And she was kind enough to rent it to us. I bumped into Steve at the farmer's market and I said, I love to cook, you love to farm. What if we, join our forces and start the farmer and the cook? So we rehabbed the building, and my mother liked Steve more than me, so she she was very generous with us and accommodating. Yeah, thanks to
and
Steve.
from the beginning, everything was organic.
Yeah, well, see, I didn't want to be organic. I had another restaurant previously in Ventura. And I said to Steve, we'll never make any money if we have to pay, a premium. And
for organic butter.
Yeah, for everything. And at the time we could, and then I'm pretty much of a pushover. So I said, sure, okay. But I had a moment where I said, no, we can't do that. And then I said, sure, why not? Let's try it. And so then we couldn't get any organic meat because it was 2000, baby, basically when we had the idea. And so we said, well, I guess we're going to have to be vegetarian. So, and neither of us was a vegetarian at the time, but over time I've become a vegetarian. And I had been in different phases of my life, but yeah, so we just said, let's just do it. And we tried to keep it really simple. And, it was like a $500 used refrigerator from a thrift store and the broken down building. And then we're probably like ready to open now. It's taken us like 24 years to, now we're like, it looks good, and we have a little bit, we opened up on a shoestring. We had like lots of advantages, like my mother being one, and lots of disadvantages. We didn't have any money, right?
Yeah, we opened on credit cards.
A couple of credit cards.
Okay.
And the farm produce. So we grew a lot of produce, and that underwrote the store.
Okay.
How did you decide about the menu at the beginning? Because you already had some produce available or not?
Yeah.
Or...
So in the beginning, I had another restaurant, and I was like, it had been 3 years, and so it had been enough time since the last restaurant for me to feel like, okay, I could do it again. But I knew that it was complicated, and I knew that employees and all that. So I said, let's make it really simple. We'll have a salad bar, which is a really fun story, how Steve got the salad bar. But and I said, we'll just have one item every day. And so we did that for about 5 years, like a tofu scramble and a stir fry and a pizza, all the ethnic foods that fit into vegetarian cooking.
Yes.
And then I went to this conference called Eco Farm that Steve's the president of the board of. And this anthropologist was speaking, and he said, you should really think about your place, who you are and where you are and what grows where you are. And I just like on a dime, I came back, I'm like, okay, you guys, All my cooks were Mexican. I'm half Colombian.
Uh-huh.
We're in a Mediterranean climate. I said, no more tofu scramble.
Yeah.
Let's do Mexican food, because the ladies in the kitchen, then they brought their recipes and they're proud of their recipes and they shared, and it was a really good decision. And also with Mexican food, it's really great because with like 10 different things, you can make 20 items, right? Or with 5 different things, you can make 10 items,
Mhm.
just combining beans and tortillas and cheese and
But over
chilies.
time, you had Japanese cooks too.
Well,
or
yeah, and then
Southeast Asian.
yeah. Ojai seems to attract like an international community because of Krishnamurti, and I'm not sure why, but it seems to be well known. And so, yeah, we have 3 beautiful Japanese cooks, and so then now we make kimchi too. And
Amazing
whatever
kimchi.
anybody wants to do, if it sounds like a good idea, we're, like I said, I'm pretty easy. I'm like, okay, sure, let's try it. If it works, we do it. So now we have a little grocery store, so we put like the kimchi not on the menu necessarily, but it's in the grab and go. Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't say it's a Mexican restaurant. You wouldn't say it's a Japanese restaurant. You wouldn't say it's a Whole Foods bakery. It's a little bit of everything together and beautifully talking, I'll say.
No, I mean, like to me, when I look at the menu, I was looking a bit ago, and it just seems very California,
Yes.
right? Like, I mean, just that place in the like purest sense of California produce and
Yes.
history and cooking and multiculturalism and
That's a really good point. Yeah. It's
Okay.
kind of cross-cultural, really,
It is.
in a beautiful way.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of nice these days.
Yeah. Local. I mean,
Yeah.
the privilege of having food from, so short distance, almost 0 kilometers. And I guess that helps somehow with the price for customers, right? I mean,
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
our prices are low. We're not great economists, so we just and we don't have a bar, and a lot of restaurants really depend on a bar. But
Right.
we have Steve Sprinkel is our bar. Like he doesn't charge me for the vegetables,
uh,
and so I think that really underwrites some of our pricing.
And then the freshness is really a key component, and so we're not really married to a product per se because we invested $40 in a box of romaine.
Okay.
So if something is not working out, then we feel it's okay to throw it out if it's not up to speed. If it's not really a good quality because it's too old. We don't have to scramble to get those last nickels and dimes out of it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of having a farm, I guess, and access to all of this freshness. So when you began, what was Ojai like? Has it changed a lot?
It's changed a lot.
Yeah,
That's
it
a really
has.
good question. Yeah. There were 2 communes, one in Upper Ojai and one in the river bottom. And so those were our people, especially in the tofu days,
Mhm.
and they were our employees, they were our customers, and as the price of housing has gone up, those people have drifted away. Yeah, which is sad.
Where have they gone?
Oh, back to
Portland.
Pittsburgh, and wherever they came from. I'm at
Okay.
various places. Yeah. That's interesting. That's a good question. Yeah. So and our business has gotten better also as tourism has increased a lot, probably, especially since like 2020. Starting with COVID, because I think
Okay.
during COVID, a lot of Los Angeles was shut down when Ventura County wasn't, so people were coming here. And so I think we were discovered in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has that kind of changed the nature of the town? All of these kind of people coming from elsewhere, opening businesses, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's probably been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new restaurateurs from LA have come to Ojai in the last 2 years.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and that's a lot of new restaurants.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
8,000 people, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
quite a.
and tourist trade, the population of the town goes up by thousands during the weekend because
Okay.
there's a major resort. The Ojai Valley Inn is here. There are some major hotels and motels, and
Okay.
and then people also stay in Ventura. So during the weekend, from Friday through Monday, it's very very busy.
Okay.
So it's a mixed blessing,
Right.
because our business is very busy on the weekend, and and our biggest problem is parking.
Okay.
It's also a place for spiritual retreat, Ojai. So,
Okay. I didn't know that.
Had
I literally know nothing about Ohio other
you
than
ever heard of
yeah.
Ojai before?
I have an idea of where it is now, but
Oh,
I've never been. No.
you're one of the few.
yeah. And yeah, I was curious about because it seems, I mean, when you say the tofu days, it's funny because it seems to be part of this counterculture movement of restaurants like Moosewood and even Alice Waters with
Yeah.
all the macrobiotic movement too of this healthy eating, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you guys were using your own intuition to pull up from the human aspect of it. Like
Yeah.
what is the nature of our cooks? What the people that we are working with us can contribute with, right? So it seems to me that it started as part of this general energy going about healthy eating, but then you make it what makes sense for Ojai, you guys, and the people working with you.
Right.
And then it starts to flourish as the unique project that it is.
Yeah, it's kind of like a snowball, it's kind of picked up different
Yeah.
things as it's gone along, but we still, because of our beginnings and because I also studied nutrition, we still are the place where you can get vegan cashew cheese in a burrito, which isn't
Yes.
very common, and we have like gluten-free and vegan cookies and both gluten-free and vegan,
Options, yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
so
we let the
definitely
customers design the restaurant.
yeah, we still accommodate that kind of tofu world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has grown, I mean, it's organic, but it has grown in a very organic way. Which
Yeah.
not every project restaurant can say.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, that's so true.
I'm curious, Nick, about the background of the two of them. Like, how did you start farming and you studied
Oh.
nutrition and how? Yeah.
Well, I'm one of the college dropout organic pioneers from 50 years ago.
From where though? Where did you grow up?
I learned how to garden organically in Santa Cruz, California.
Okay.
And Santa Cruz, California is the center of the organic farming movement on the West Coast. And now, 50 years later, the Organic Farming Research Foundation, the California Certified Organic Farmers, the Ecological Farming Association, so many other Wild Farm Alliance, so many other organizations are there because of Alan Chadwick. Alan Chadwick came from England in the 60s and started an organic farm at the University of California at Santa Cruz. And from that moment on, things just grew and attracted people, and things became very professional. So, now you have the Organic Farming Research Foundation, which has definite ties and communication with Washington with regard to research in the organic field. So that's where I started there, but that sounds grandiose, all that stuff. But we're just like many of us, we had our gardens, and then they got too big, and then we had too much produce, and right around that time, the co-op movement started.
Okay.
So when then the farms got so big that Governor Brown and the legislature started the farmers market movement in California. So then the farmers market was the place where all the organic farmers went with all of their produce, because there was not an established market. There were very few distributors and very few retailers. And so I farmed in various places in California and in Hawaii and in Texas, and so I landed here in 1999 when I met Olivia.
How did you
Oh,
guys?
I sold her produce when she had her bakery, the City Bakery in Ventura, and then I left to go to Texas, and she left to go to Hawaii. And when we both came back to Ojai, now we were both divorced from the people that we'd been married to at the time, and I sold her a kabocha squash at the farmer's market. I'd had a terrible crush on her earlier. So I was so perplexed and tongue tied. I completely forgot her name.
Oh.
what did you do with the
She
squash?
forgave me eventually.
Yeah.
Oh, I bought it for school, for my son's school potluck. Nice try, Steve. So I think for me, it started with, I think, a trip back from Colombia. We stopped in Mexico City and we went, my mom took us to the market and I saw the pig head under the glass.
Mhm.
And that's when I became a vegetarian. You know, that's all it
Lechona.
took. And so then if you're a vegetarian, then you need to know about nutrition. And so then it evolved from there. And I go back and forth being a vegetarian and not being a vegetarian, but yeah, I was.
When did
there
you
for a
open your restaurant in Ventura?
That's a good question. I think 80, I was there for 7 years, like 80, 88, something like that, 89.
It was a bakery or?
It was a bakery cafe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just wondering, like, I grew up in Ohio, you know, like organic food and vegetarian food for me in the 80s was basically like non-existent for the most part. You know, like vegetarian food was like still this like obscure thing. But I'm wondering what this movement was like for you guys in at that time there. It had to have been completely different.
In
like
California?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
movement. Can you guys see me? It seems like I have.
Oh, you're back.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, did you hear any
We
of that?
knew, we knew that
Okay.
there was a tradition of vegetarian dedication and cuisine in Ojai. And one of the chief sponsors was the Indian philosopher Krishnamurti. And Krishnamurti came from a long line of other vegetarians who he was familiar with, like Aldous Huxley, Bernard Shaw, Annie Besant, people that now are like 120 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so Krishnamurti attracted vegetarians. And what was the name of the restaurateur who owned the ranch house?
Alan Hooker.
Then Alan Hooker was kind of his personal chef, and he's just down the road from where Krishnamurti lived. And so, and we knew there were many devotees of Krishnamurti living here. And so that was one of the reasons why, other than the fact that meat was so expensive, we decided to be vegetarian. And it was kind of an aha moment came when one of the first county health inspectors came to inspect the store. And she said, "You don't cook meat here at all?" And we said, "No." And she said, "Wow, you really made my job easy." Because meat contamination is a key feature in health inspection, because you always have to keep these services clean. You have to have a meat station. That's all you do there is meat. You don't ever cut zucchini. And so, that was a struggle. And people, of course, wanted to have meat, but we weren't going to give it to them. But the last thing I was going to say was that we didn't know it at the time. You could hear them just on the other side of the hill. It was the vegans. The vegans were coming. And the vegans were coming, and they saved us. And so when the vegans came, they said, "What? You don't cook meat here at all? You mean there's no vegetarian option?" I said, "No, we don't. This is our place." And so the vegans, and they have this elaborate organization of Happy Cow and all this, all these helpful organizations that direct people to restaurants like this. The vegans are are kind of like co-sponsors of the restaurant because so many of them gravitate here.
Okay.
Right, Nick. It's a very Californian place, and it tells the story of California in many ways. The spiritual one, the farming one, the politics wise, people wise, right?
But
The hippie
but
one,
You
the
want,
rebel. I think the
yeah.
vegetarianism and rebel, the 60s rebels kind of go hand in hand. Yeah.
but what I find interesting, it was this kind
Yeah.
of bubble of vegetarianism and fresh food, this very California idea of living that kind of spread across the United States. I think maybe you disagree, but I mean, in some ways, it kind of set the chain in motion for the last 20 years of what was going on in this area. And I'm wondering what were the challenges in that, and are there places where it kind of lost the sense of what it was supposed to be?
If, yeah.
Yeah, well, one of the challenges with vegetarian cooking is that meat's delicious,
Yeah.
and it's fatty and it's umami and it's all of that. And so then you have to make up for that. And so, for instance, we do a fish taco and we batter and fry a mushroom. But so now we've replaced meat, which, is higher in the food chain and high in saturated fat, with a fried food. So it's an interesting question as well. So, yeah. So sometimes, like if I want to serve somebody the healthiest food imaginable, it probably isn't, the fried mushroom. But, it's still lower on the food chain. And so I think that's always good. And
The
I think
feeling.
yeah. And you need some fat, you need some flavor, and so there's that challenge with when you replace meat, it's hard to just replace it, speaking of tofu again, ounce for ounce of tofu, it just, it's not going to fly. You really need, that's why, all the tofu stir fries are Asian, because there's soy sauce and all of those umami flavors. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll say, I mean, for personal experience, the first time that I visit this place, yes, that is true. But on the other hand, because eating is so sensorial, because you are stimulated in so many ways in all your senses, I think at least there is a part of you. I mean, I'm not a super meat eater, but I still think meat eaters will forget about it because there is so much to look at, so much to learn, so much to taste, and to just like absorb with your eyes, and the energy of the place. So the flowers, the plants, the diversity of veggies, the menu is rich, all the shop options of the shop, the people are great. So I think you kind of forget about it.
Yeah, I'm sure most of our customers aren't vegetarians.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they,
Yeah.
once they are here, they are open, eyes open for a different thing and a story you want to share with them.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, I think the quality is really important as well.
Exactly.
Because I mean, like, it's much harder to be a vegetarian in Ohio, shopping out of like Kroger, and and just the vegetables are all just total shit, coming from who knows where. There's no flavor whatsoever. They last forever. Like, it's scary how long like an apple lasts. It never rots. Like, it sits there for months sometimes. Like, I go home to my mom's house and it's like, I saw this the last time I visited. Like, it's the same apple. and it's harder to, I think, get people to appreciate vegetables when they're so bad like that, or fruits. But if you have, fresh vegetables, like grown in the best way, meat really doesn't compare. Like, there's meat's so boring, I think, sometimes, even though our body craves it a little bit sometimes, a lot of us, at least we think we do. It's so boring, and like vegetables are so much more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have anything over $20 on the menu?
No.
What's the highest price?
I think the veggie burger is $16 or something.
So if you go to a restaurant and you look at what they're charging for meat, it's kind of astronomical. It's like 28 or 32 or 42. It's like
Yeah.
really a lot of
Or
money.
even for a salad.
It's kind of appalling. But we've managed to keep our prices affordable and the quality dependable enough
Hmm.
to have lots of repeat customers. Um, People move here because of the store.
I am sure. I'm sure.
Oh, yes.
No, I like it's
Yeah, I
it's
didn't
im-
realize I was sitting right next to
People.
no, it's important to have access to these things, and
Definitely.
like I think it's in a way it's good that meat is expensive there because in a lot of the rest of the country, meat is cheaper than vegetables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can get Brazilian beef, from the Amazon for nothing. No, I mean nobody realizes that's where it's coming from, but it's cheaper than a squash. It's cheaper than everything else, and that's the sad thing. So maybe if meat was more expensive
And yeah.
in other places, it would be easier. Like if it actually the price reflected the ecological cost of the ingredient, maybe
We don't
that
have
makes sense.
the meat production that you have in the Midwest. It seems like every other farm has got a herd on it, or they're involved with animal livestock production a lot more.
Hmm.
Not here. You rarely see livestock unless it's a dedicated ranch with cattle on it.
Hmm. What about dairy? How is so do you get the dairy products from like brands you like or
Yeah, well, it's really hard. I mean, when we first opened, we couldn't get organic chilies, and we still can't. So Steve grows those, and we couldn't get really odd things like coconut milk and tarragon, dried tarragon.
oh,
Yeah, just odd things. But now you can pretty much get any, well, except for some of the fine cheeses like Gruyeres and things. We still kind of get the basic cheeses. We get the cheddars and the jacks and the feta and Parmesan. And we were getting organic Italian Parmesan, but now we're not able to get that, so we're just getting domestic. But the goat cheese is organic and bulk is really hard to get, so we get that from a farm in Idaho.
okay.
But most of the dairy, besides that goat cheese from Amalthea, we get from just off the truck from UNFI,
Ah,
and just from the. But the other thing that's also harder with organic compared to my first restaurant is, we don't get the 5-gallon buckets or the 3 pound. I remember the 3-pound chunk of cream cheese. So we're opening, small packages. So
Yeah.
economically, we're paying, the higher price for the smaller packages versus the bulk.
yeah.
That part of organic hasn't happened as well
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
as much. Yeah.
Do you sell in bulk? Like
Yeah, we have
anything?
bulk bins. We're kind of like a
Okay.
little mini market. Yeah, we have some
Okay.
chickens, some grains, and
Nut butters.
nut butters that we grind, and a little produce department, like
Okay.
8 vegetables, and then a lot of pastries,
Okay.
a lot of cookies.
Okay. Cool. Olivia, you're Colombian. Did you grow half
I'm also,
Colombian?
yeah.
Okay. Did you grow up there? You grew up in California.
I grew up in Seattle till I was 12, and then California. I lived with my grandmother in Colombia for 6 months when I was 7. And then I went back when I was 16, when I was 45. And then in the last 10 years, I go back a lot, almost every other
Okay.
year. Yeah, love Colombia.
Yeah. Where do you like to go?
Oh, we go to Cartagena. We go to, my family's from Medellin. I have 45 cousins. So,
So you and Julie are probably related.
yeah.
We look for it. True, because my dad's last name is from Antioquia, Duque.
Oh, yeah, there was a president.
Very
too,
big.
right?
Yeah. But there is that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably.
So one thing I think about often is kind of the organic farm movement, and just small farm movement and farmers markets. In all of these things, it's like they've gotten a lot of media attention, and it's wonderful, and they've all been growing. But at the same time, so many small farms are disappearing, and industrial agriculture in the United States like is only getting like bigger and bigger. Is there something that like how do we reverse that trend? For one, do you
There
guys?
seems to be there seems to be a new wave of younger farmers. We've sort of noticed it for the last 5 to 10 years, and it's increasing.
Okay.
A lot of them come and go, and we've trained a lot of them also, and have connection with a lot of them. But we've seen them give up because it's too hard, or because it's too hard and it's too complicated with all the marketing and the driving and the actual farming and the management, the farm management. But there are some farmers, young farmers they're staying with it, and so this organization that I've been affiliated with for serious affiliation for about 18 years, Eco Farm, the Ecological
Mm-hmm.
Farming Association. So we have a conference every year that 1,800 people go to, and we have a significant play in scholarships. And so many new organic farmers are recruited, and we try to get them to go to the conference so that they can build community and experience what we experienced 45 years ago when we first started going to Eco Farm. And there's a lot of these conferences all over the country. There's some really big ones in Wisconsin, in Pennsylvania, in Michigan, and New York, and in Georgia. So there's ample opportunity for them all to learn about it. And there are a lot of new farmers that are starting, but they don't have the benefits that a lot of us have. For example, access to land.
Mm-hmm.
We really benefited by having access to land because there were so few farmers at the time, and now there's interest in maintaining and keeping all this ground.
Mm-hmm.
There's getting a lease or a rent or even buying ground. For years, I told them if they asked me where they should go, I said you should go to Iowa.
Why Iowa?
It's cheap. And so I don't
Okay.
know how cheap it is now, but after I worked in Iowa during the 90s, and I was appalled at how cheap it was. I mean, you could buy a 100-acre dairy farm and they'd give you the tractor for $100,000. It was very cheap.
Why is it so cheap there? I thought Iowa
Well,
was covered in
because
farms.
all the farmers were aging out, and a lot of the kids
Okay.
had grown up being appalled at all the hard work of running a dairy or waiting for a hailstorm to kill your corn crop. And so they just all moved to the city, and so there was a lot of farmland that was available when I was working there, and I've watched the prices go up since, but it's nothing like California.
Mm.
Acres in California are $100,000,
Wow.
and it's not even close to that in the Midwest. No, and there's pockets of fantastic opportunity all throughout the Midwest, like in eastern Nebraska, northern Missouri, these little valleys that are everywhere. Just like in California, nobody really wants to own 40 acres in a valley, but some up and coming farmer would.
Mm-hmm. Eco Farm is the name of the
Eco Farm is the name of the conference.
Uh-huh.
Ecological Farming Association is the name of the sponsor,
Okay.
and we have 3 events. Well, actually, almost 4 events. But we have an all-day event in Northern California, which is mostly for kids, for families with children, and they go to the farm, Full Belly Farm, in Yolo County, and they experience the hose down. Put your hoe down so you stop working. That's what it means. And
Okay.
so we do that. And that's a and also there's this farm, Full Belly Farm, is probably the best organic farm in the country, and they are very diversified. They have lots and lots of different kinds of crops. They grow flowers, and they have sheep, and they have walnuts. Some of that they're very, very diversified. And then the owners give tours of the farm, and that's really one of the highlights. We can't do that at Eco Farm at the conference.
Mm-hmm.
We have the conference in Monterey every year. It's we go and visit farms, so it's not like being on a farm for that period of time. And so we've been reaching out to young farmers, and with good results. And not just Anglos. There's an organization called ALBA, which reaches out to Latin American farmers, chiefly Mexican farmers, and gives them an opportunity to learn how to farm. There might be a farm worker, just cutting broccoli all day.
Yeah.
But then they go to work at Alba, and they learn how to be a diversified vegetable farmer.
Okay, so it creates a pathway for them to have their own
It's,
farm.
we're intentionally opening that up.
Yeah.
We need to visit, Nick.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it sounds amazing. It sounds amazing.
There is a story about the mill that it's behind Steve and Olivia.
Oh yeah.
This?
Yes.
The
Please
Oscar
tell us
roller.
about it.
Yeah. Well, we're kind of impulsive, and we went to a talk at Eco Farm. Mr. Fry from Fry Vineyards was growing Sonora wheat in between his grape crops, and he had brought this beautiful loaf of bread that he had grown the wheat, ground it, baked it, and me and three other employees decided that. Well, the three employees decided that they had to grow wheat. And so Steve helped them. They found some land in Upper Ojai. They actually didn't want to have anything to do with us, but they wanted to be their project. And so they planted the wheat. And am I missing anything? And
I took the irrigation lines up to the pipe, the big aluminum pipe up there, so they could irrigate their wheat.
And it didn't rain.
Yeah,
And the wheat didn't grow.
And we bought them a harvester, a combine. The combine broke, and they wouldn't fix it.
And
But they were naive dilettantes.
Okay.
But we bought this elaborate, fantastic piece of sculpture, this Austrian
Osterroller.
mill.
Yeah.
It was from
It's called an Osterroller.
It's an Osterroller.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
it's a beautiful thing.
But
And
Steve
we
grows
use it here.
polenta. He grows polenta, and we
Oh,
grind
yeah.
the polenta in there, and then we bake bread, so we add some kamut. We get like 40%.
You grind the kamut.
We grind the kamut,
Yeah, we have
so
to bake,
we add
sure.
that to our bread dough. Yeah.
Amazing. Is there a lot of local wheat and grains around?
Yeah, there's one
Yes,
company
yes.
that dedicated themselves to it.
Okay.
You should talk about
Who's that?
it. What's her name?
Kandarian?
No, down in the woman with her bakery.
Yeah.
What's her name? Christine or
Yeah, we don't remember.
Okay.
There is somebody who's very big, and she owns land in the Imperial Valley, and she has the air conditioned combine. She has all the, like, we put the cart before the horse a lot. She has like everything lined up, and she
knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
We kind of
Just wing it. Yeah.
we're just like
yeah.
Kenter Farms.
Kentor Farms.
Kenter
yeah.
Farms.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, that's cool. Everyone should check that
But
out.
this is wheat country. It used to be wheat country, but now it's avocado country.
Okay. All right. So, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, the land is too expensive in California, you have to grow artichokes or strawberries or something that brings in a high price in order to pay the rent. Because most farmers here don't own their land like they do in Ohio, probably. They usually lease the land. And it's expensive.
And we'll let people in Kansas grow the wheat, and we'll grow the avocados here.
Okay.
Because you can't grow the avocados in
Yeah.
Kansas.
Right.
So agriculture in California evolved. It started with wheat, and we used to grow lima beans here without irrigation.
Okay.
It was the lima bean capital of the world. And then they grew sugar beets here, and then they started planting walnuts, and then they started planting citrus. Once we got irrigation, once we dammed the rivers and got dependable irrigation supplies, and then the citrus and then different kinds of citrus, and now we're going back here to olives.
Okay.
And so there's always a an evolution of going from one crop to another. This place at one time was famous for apricots, and you still see occasionally 10 little acre apricot orchards without irrigation.
Okay.
So but they're all gone now. They're all growing. Now they're growing pixie tangerines and avocados.
But they are also, I mean, there is this like big project growing organically and abundance, but they have within that broader project, they have smaller projects that are less visible, like, for example, well, one of your chefs was just telling us she grows the kogi for me for the kimchi at her place. And I was
Okay.
asking her why at her place, and she said because here is too it needs pampering and it needs this and this. So Olivia is growing that in her own place, and she brings the kogi for the kimchi. So there are like these little efforts that make that kimchi taste delicious.
Mm-hmm.
There is another one like Steve is acting as some sort of a bank seed for Gaza
Okay.
because he
Oh,
got in,
that's right,
in touch
yeah.
with some people. They're losing their seeds because of the war, and they're like, if you send some, I'll grow them here and I'll protect them so that when you guys can grow again, we can send them
Okay.
back. So
Okay. What kind of seeds are those? Like what kind of things are growing?
There's some seeds that are typical for that part of the world. Watermelon, and arugula. An arugula is a wild plant that grows all throughout the Mediterranean, and there's a certain moment, probably in February or March, when the entire countryside in
Mm-hmm.
Greece and in the Levant and in Morocco and in Spain and Italy are covered with wild arugula.
Okay.
So they all have arugula. And the
Yeah.
Palestinians had. So this Palestinian arugula was different from the arugula that we have grown here.
Okay.
And we watched it grow, and one thing we had to do is when it started to flower, we cut all the flowers off, and that made the plants branch out and make much more seed. So we harvested the seed for this Palestinian arugula a week ago, and I
Okay.
think that we must have gotten 30 or 40 pounds of the seed for them.
Okay.
And so we also have okra. Okra is a crop that originates in Africa,
Okay.
and so does watermelon. And let's see what.
Watermelons from Africa? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And let's see what are some of the other things that those are the ones I'm growing. So we got
Okay.
these seeds, and then my seed broker, the one I do my seed growing for, that's a part of a little seed project we have.
Mm-hmm.
Then he sent some of these seeds to his other farms that he communicates with, so that we could actually be diversified in case I had a problem. Then all the seeds wouldn't be in one basket,
Okay.
which is smart.
Yeah.
Although we've done pretty well with all the ones that we're growing.
Okay. So that's
So
incredible. You guys are preserving Palestinian
yeah,
agricultural heritage
what
in.
else can you do? What else can
Yeah.
you do to affect the
Yeah.
outcome here?
Yeah.
So,
No, that's amazing that somebody thought of that in time.
yeah, it was an article in the Guardian newspaper from Britain that I read. Gosh, when was
Good
it?
for the Guardian.
I guess about this time last year when we started communicating with them and setting up a planting schedule, because you can't plant certain things.
Yeah.
You can't plant okra in the winter, and you can't plant watermelon in the winter. But and to get seed from the arugula, that had to be planted in February.
Mm-hmm.
Then it wouldn't freeze. So things like that. You had to plan ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
From your experience, has the seed network in the United States improved in recent years? In the sense that, Like, I mean, I've heard so many stories about Monsanto and all these, chemical companies controlling the seeds and the pesticide, cycle for so many years. But in the last few years, I feel like there's been a little bit of a shift, at least, at least in the media. So it's hard to tell how true it is. That there are a lot of like regional seed companies, a lot of seed savers, a lot of rural communities, indigenous communities that are trying to preserve a lot of seed heritage, and they're trying to get them to at the very least gardeners. Like I have all kinds of heirloom seeds in my garden, just right over there that I never had before, and it's something I probably couldn't have got 10 years ago. Is this a good thing? Is it just kind of hype, or is there an actual
It's
change
it's
starting
kind of
to
a
happen?
catch-up because the Seed Savers Exchange started, I think, in the 70s.
Hmm.
And they're in Decorah, Iowa. And so a lot of people would find out about the Seed Savers Exchange, like me, and they immediately gravitated to it. And so
Okay.
I bought seeds from this organization of it's kind of a cooperative of other seed savers, and they have an elaborate catalog of all of these heirloom seeds and what
Hmm.
how many are left and how many and the watermelon varieties that have died out and that you can't get anymore. It's like really a sad story, but they saved what they possibly could.
Hmm.
So that's grown up, and so in these little organizations all over the country, like the ones in Wisconsin or in New York or in Texas, everybody's saving seed, and then they all go to these conferences, and then they have a seed exchange. And the seed exchange at EcoFarm is like church. I mean, it's a really
Hmm.
big deal, and there's um, 100 or more seed savers who have brought all their seeds, and there's a gigantic pile of scion wood from orchards that they've cut off so that
Hmm.
people can go and get grafting material. I mean,
Okay.
and these guys are so incredibly organized. Every single limb has got a name on it. It's
Okay.
like it's really crazy. I mean, so they're doing their best, and yeah, it's scary. What the seed industry went through a huge consolidation and monopolization, but the things that they could not touch were the open pollinated landrace things that were that were in the common
Hmm.
control
Yeah.
of the general populace. The hybrids belong to the people who hybridize them,
Right.
um, and Monsanto's kind of scary because, of course, they're the flagship for this genetically modified business, but we've been able to hold them at bay and actually grow our sector better and faster and be more resilient than they have because they're having so many problems with genetically modified
Hmm.
agriculture. It's like it's kind of scary for them.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, that sounds promising in a way. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
there's
just
more of it.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like much of my work, and Juliana's too, is in Latin America, where I think there isn't so much of this network of people protecting seeds. There's small communities, indigenous communities, rural communities, but they're not very organized. And there are land rights are definitely an issue all over the place.
Mm.
And it's scary because I feel like just over the last 20 years I've seen how quickly things can change.
Or legislation.
Yeah, legislations, and like I mean there have been some positive things, like Peru banned Monsanto for, at least they keep doing it for every like 10 years or something. But one day they'll probably bribe someone
Hmm.
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
change something, and a lot of other countries it's kind of the same thing. It just depends on whatever administration is in power and how they got there. But yeah, it's scary, but that gives me hope that something is happening in the U.S. to where, even if things are progressively getting worse, there is some kind of backup plan. You know, there is some kind of, safe
Well,
that's
there is a movement
protecting.
in Colombia now called Guardianes de Semillas, like,
Okay, yeah.
and I also put you in touch with one of the leaders because he lives in Medellin, and they are doing amazing work. I mean, they have progress. It's tough, but
Yeah.
when you look at the numbers and the amount of people they involve, it's like
Hmm.
the farming thing. Like it's not that small. It's
Okay.
just not as visible, and
Right.
they grassroots.
Yeah.
Mainly with the help of some organizations like Swiss Aid and some, yeah, but mostly people just working for it. I have to put you in touch with him.
And I guess
That's
it's
amazing.
harder in the tropics too, to grow organically.
Yeah, organic, but mostly they're trying to go back and do research about native seeds and
More about the seeds,
more about the seeds and
varieties,
the
yeah.
diversity of corn, potatoes, a
Hmm.
bunch of tubers in Colombia, Peru, the Andes. So yeah, it's mostly how to protect the diversity of the seeds.
Yeah, the knowledge base is important
Yes.
to understand first,
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
two of the most significant crops in the world originate in northern South America: sweet potatoes
Mm-hmm.
and potatoes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And now they're growing everywhere. And so when you go to these small markets, these campesino markets, and you see the piles of the heirloom potatoes that they've been growing
Hmm.
for decades and centuries, that is the nature. That's the database. Olivia grows Criollo Colombian potatoes.
Okay.
I tried.
Criollo?
Okay. What happened? They didn't come
Okay,
out
so the
well, or
first crop I grew in a wine barrel, and the
okay,
potatoes that came were like that big.
tiny, yeah.
Yeah, and then I waited and I planted those, and then I got nothing. I
Okay.
got one purple potato. I
Okay.
don't know why it was purple. So now I'm just growing, some potatoes from Peru, but I bought them from somebody in Texas, just in my
Okay.
backyard,
All
and so I
right.
think they're more acclimated to our day life. But I was so careful with my Colombian potatoes. I would cover them at 6 o'clock so they thought they were in Colombia. So it was
Yeah.
full day and night, and they didn't go for it though. They grew, but they didn't produce. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, that's one of the hardest things to translate here is criollas, the yellow,
The little yellow,
Hmm.
the
they're really high
yellow.
in vitamin
Yeah.
A, and I always thought that was kind of special. Yeah.
Yeah, no, our potatoes are so boring in the U.S. They're so
Yeah.
like devoid of nutrients most of the time. It's so
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah. I like the wild ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I wanted to ask you, you were saying, Nick, well, it
Mm.
looks like there is hope, and what what will you say gives you hope and what keeps you going? I mean, it's not that you don't have enough reasons to keep you going because your customers and all the amazing things that happen here. But what will you say is that driving force that is inspiring you guys after all this time?
The customers and their genuine affection and dedication to us in the store, and it's really so embarrassing, It really is the things they say. So it's, and so I think you take that in subconsciously almost, and then that ends up being your basis.
Yeah,
It's a good
that's
answer.
true.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Well, I always felt proud because, it's not like we're changing the world, but I always felt proud that we're supporting all these organic farmers. So if I buy organic vanilla and it's twice as expensive, but I know that means that somebody's going to grow it
Yeah.
in Tahiti, or wherever.
Hmm.
So that makes me feel good,
Mhm.
even though, I'm just a business person, right? I'm not really, like an activist or anything, but I'm doing my little piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that little. Yes.
No, I
Yeah,
mean,
really nice employees, huh? Yeah.
Amazing. There is
Yeah.
no lack of love here for sure. Plenty,
mm.
plenty of flavor and ethics.
Yeah,
It's
but
one thing they really like. Yeah, they like it. They really like it that it's legit.
yeah,
That
yeah,
we walk our talk, and we're not trying to fool anybody, and it's not fake. And so it really is a farm around to cook,
Yeah.
and people that's kind of like they're so relieved that we're not trying to snow
yeah, yeah.
Really?
I mean, because that's so
Go
common
ahead.
now. Uh, no, but I like. I think restaurants, markets. I mean, what would you call the project? Is it? Do you call it a restaurant? Do you call it a bakery? Do you call it a
them. I always
farm?
call it a store
A store? Okay.
because
You sell
these
things.
projects
Okay.
here we sell things. So
Yeah.
it is a restaurant and
Yeah.
a store. And a
It's
bakery.
mostly a restaurant. There's
Okay.
a little bit of grocery, but I think
Yeah,
it's mostly a
monetarily,
restaurant,
that's where the money comes from.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
the restaurant and the bakery.
Okay.
Yeah, you should
But
take a look.
it's also like a community hub. It's a hub of information, and I think that's sometimes gets overlooked. Just beyond dollars and cents that come and go, the
That's
impact that you can have just by showing people that this grows here, this can grow here, and this is our food, and it's. I think it really does have this kind of snowballing effect, and it's quite impressive that you guys have been able to keep it up for 20 years now.
You're pretty tired.
We had a lot of help. We had a
Yeah.
lot of help from our associates and our employees for sure. Many of them are still here after 15 years or so, and we've got a lot of help from the community. People like Liz, what's Liz's the
Otterbeins?
no the people they lives up on the hill with Larry. Her last name Memel.
Oh, yeah.
Liz Memel has been at the store every day for the last 15 years. It's like
Yeah.
that's something you can't and her husband buys a pizza here every Friday. So this is something you can't recruit people like that. They find you and then they're your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've met some great people. Yeah.
They published a book 2 years ago.
Oh yeah. Tell me about the book.
Do you have a cover of it?
Oh, there's one over there if you want to grab it. Yeah, it's called The Farmer and the Cook.
Mhm.
And it is, it's this guy.
Okay, beautiful.
He's a writer, and he writes these beautiful essays once a week, and so it includes his poetry. We had an employee who was a cartoonist, and so she drew up a really funny cartoon of our lost and found with like a 6-handed glove and funny things.
Of a landscape of
Yeah, beautiful.
And so it took about 2 years to write the cookbook or to put it together. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. But I really wanted to honor the people that made it, because it's definitely not just Steve and I. We have 55 employees, and we love them, and a lot of moms, their kids work here. We have 6 different moms who have children that work here, 1 or 2.
This is a newsletter, right?
Yeah, the Forager newsletter. Yeah. So
Okay, cool.
and there's a lot of his foragers that I did put in here are honor the farm workers that have worked hard for our success. So yeah, it was kind of just a tribute to the employees and just a way to say that we're proud of what we did.
Yeah.
And
it has obviously many delicious recipes.
Yeah, and Olivia wrote the whole book on the kitchen table.
Oh, yeah.
We put it all together. Of course, she had help, professional help eventually, but she's very dedicated about it.
Spring Asian menu.
All right, nice.
Then some.
oh yeah, did you see the
so
empanadas in there?
delicious. Sweet chard and zucchini, enchiladas. Everything's delicious. Oh, the empanadas.
I think they're in the back.
We have to try the Colombian arepas.
This is my whole family eating empanadas.
All right. Nice.
Just our favorite Colombian food.
Oh,
Yeah.
the pipián empanadas. They look.
No, they're big.
They're
Oh, the
big.
Yeah.
pipián. Okay, those are my favorite ones.
Oh, I love the
Ah,
pipián
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
peanut.
Oh,
Peanut
peanut
sauce,
sauce.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, that many empanadas that size, you have to give credit to the people that put them
Yeah.
together. You need a big family for that.
Yeah.
Bigger than mine.
Yeah, so there is
All right,
a
and
book.
you can get that on your website.
I guess on our website, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've sold about 2,000
Oh, that's awesome.
just through the
That's a good
store.
amount. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
To the intangible community.
Yeah.
What's some of the intangibles? This is one of your.
I know, right? That's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to. I mean, I'll say all the values. All the things that matter. I mean, like you really feel the homemade cook. Obviously, it's not homemade food because you come to get it here, but you really feel the difference in how the food tastes, and it's fulfilling and filling. You feel the care, you feel the authentic work, right? The honesty, the community, the support to other people. I mean, it's all ethics. That's intangible, and love. So it feels like as food should be, and restaurants should be, and the food chain should be.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a beautiful example of how things should work in a local community. But what I admire too is the ability to stay local but still having a cosmopolitan vision. Because when Steve is reading the Guardian and helping these guys in Gaza, and being informed of what's happening out there, and traveling when you can, and bringing all these people with an open mind, it's just a great balance, right? Because when you stay too local, maybe you become local, conservative, self-contained, and it's the opposite of that. I guess tourism helps, but it's not only that, it's your attitude and approach to things. So, I mean, all good things.
No, it's really nice speaking with you both and hearing your story. And as I said, it gives me hope to just see all the things you're involved with, and what just a restaurant in a restaurant store, whatever you want to call it, in a town of 8,000, what it can do and the impact it can have. It's it's great, and like we need more places like that.
It's also a great. Yeah, I was about to say, I think it's a great example of food activism. How can you be an activist from the kitchen and the farm and a community around food?
Yeah, but while just running a business, not,
Yeah,
that's it.
That too. Yes.
All right.
Is there something else we have to say to have you here?
I keep cutting out
on this side of the country.
No, I think that's it on my end. Julie, any other questions?
I think she wants you to fly here.
Okay, yeah.
It's an invitation.
No, I would love to. I need to come one day. I love Southern California, but it's like I've only been a couple of times, but just like LA, really, and I think San Diego once. But yeah, it's beautiful there, and I'm sure where you guys are at, like it looks and sounds amazing. So one day.
Okay.
All right. Thank you both. It was a real pleasure.
Thank you. We love your podcast.
Thank you. No, and thanks, Julie, on location the first time. This is great.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks to them for having.